let me tell you what the things are very different today. Okay. And it's important to go forward to today too. I don't want to stay in the past. I want to
Yeah.
take the lessons from the past and apply them to the present. So the 4.5 at the time was truly a Series A, a real Series A. It wasn't a seed. As
Mm.
far as seed money is concerned, I think we put in about overall maybe 500,000 before getting the 4.5. And again, this was 30, well, that's 27, 28 years ago at that point. So multiply by two or three the amounts for today. So you're talking about a Series A at about 12 million of cash. So there was a previously a seed, but what happened is we were working in a brand new market called the web that literally nobody knew.
Mm.
I've got stories I can tell you about that, but we don't have the time. So nobody knew about VCs, by the way. So nobody knew about that stuff. So it was pretty much impossible to raise seed funding
Mm.
at that time. So we had to find friends and families to put in the seed funding and advance to a point where we could get to the Series A. Now, what changed? How did you actually manage to get to that Series A in '98? Well, what happened was specifically what we were banking on, which was the internet is a big thing. The web is this thing that's going to grow dramatically. So the idea here is when you start a company, um, you want to start a company in a market that is either huge or is going to grow extremely big. If you start a company in a market that is small and will stay small, whatever work you do, however successful you are, you're still going to be small.
Mm.
So we were on the web and we knew, and that was the thing because we were basically young and we understood computers and networking and the web, that it was going to be absolutely massive. So 96, nobody saw it. 97 started to warm up. Amazon was boosting, things were happening, etc. In 98, all of Silicon Valley went in. It's like, it's the classic problem of VCs who have the herd mentality. Like when a couple of the big guys go in, everybody wants to go in, and so everybody started investing on the web, and we were there, but we're in Los Angeles, not in San Francisco. So the VCs in San Francisco started getting first all the deals in San Francisco. The other VCs in California couldn't get access to the deals in San Francisco, so they started looking for deals out there. So we got VCs from LA and San Diego to smaller VCs to invest in our company. But at that time, already in '98, it starts getting really hot, really, really hot.
What was your pitch deck like? How much of it was centered around vision, and what were your numbers roughly before you were able to raise a $4.5 million round at $12.5 million valuation?
Back
30.
then, right? So which is now probably 10, 12 at a 30, 40 million valuation. The the deck at the time was paper. You'd go to the VCs and you'd pitch them on paper, right? And how was our deck? Our deck was a story. And when you're pitching, well, it wasn't just a story because we had been operating for a year and some. So at that point, you want a story, but you want a story with some grounded in truths, grounded in facts that are verifiable. That's the key. You don't want to tell a fable. You want to tell an extremely exciting story, forward-looking story, but you want to ground it on verifiable facts, however many you can have. And the bigger, the longer you've been operating and the bigger amounts of money you want, the more verifiable facts you need.
Mhm.
So what we did at the time, and that was the strategy, and it worked actually quite well, was since we wanted to be an intermediary, so working with merchants and customers, we needed to acquire merchants and acquire customers. And so you
Mhm.
start with some merchants. So what we did was we started with three guys, a small, a medium, and a big. At the time, big, which was tiny. It's tiny now, but back then they were actually decently big. So you start with the three types of merchants that you want to be able to say, look, I can work with all these with all these business types, and then you just go and then you work with these business types. You convince them that you want to do something that's going to be really good for them, and so you get your first few beta business users, and then we started doing the work, and right away we built a website that was very informational for customers, so we could get the first users coming through. And as you get more users coming through, you go get more merchants. As you get more merchants, you get more users, blah, 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 and it keeps growing up. But you have to be helped by a market that is also growing. So when we started in 96, the whole internet was maybe 50 million people, maybe, probably even 20 million people, max. So there was nobody. So we were really helped by, well, the net going global and the web and people coming into the web and starting using it, et cetera, et cetera. So you're helped by this massive wave pushing you forward. And by 98, we had, well, first of all, we'd been operating for a year and a half. We had a team of 6-7 people, so they kind of knew we could kind of operate a little bit. We had a number of merchants working with us, hadn't left, were happy working with us, not making money. We weren't making money much. We were selling a couple of data reports and things like that here and there to try to make some money. So we were making a little bit of money, $20,000 here and there and whatnots. And we had a user base that was growing dramatically thanks to the growth of the web. And add to that the excitement of the whole market for anything having to do with web stuff, it became relatively easy to raise. In 97, it wasn't. In 97, we could not raise. And we tried, and we went to the biggest VCs in the country, and VCs in Silicon Valley. And some of them told us, we don't think this online shopping is ever going to do anything. It's not going to happen. And to us, it was insane. It was just it doesn't make any sense. And that's what happens when you're the entrepreneur. When you're an entrepreneur and you find an opportunity and you're like, this stuff has to happen. This is guaranteed it's going to work. And nobody's doing it. Even if it's not something you absolutely love, I don't care about shopping, really. But when you see that something is going to work, obviously it's going to happen. It's going to be very big and the market is growing, get in it. Okay. Run into it.